I'm Jerry Pitt. I'm the publisher of Hot Rod Magazine, and I've done that since 2005. And based in Southern California at our El Segundo facility, and been with Hot Rod Magazine since 2005, but started with Peterson Publishing back in 1986. My brother's 16 years older than me, and so we used to take me cruising on Van Nuys Boulevard, and he would sneak my dad's copy of Hot Rod out so we could all go read it, because my dad was very particular about his magazines. And so I remember one time I took it and I tore the cover, and he made me go tell my dad I tore the cover. I was probably like 6, 5, and it was amazing. It was just the way my dad was about car magazines. He'd write letters to the editor and do all that stuff, and so I was really kind of fascinated by car magazines as a kid. My dad had a body shop, and he really didn't want me to get in the body shop business, and my brother-in-law had a mechanic shop, and he was like, no, you don't need. And so I just wanted to gravitate and be around the cars and stuff. And you know, back in the late 70s, early 80s, when I was basically learning to drive, it was a tough time to be a car enthusiast. I mean, there wasn't much to be out there, but Hot Rod was trying to be true to what hot rodding was, but you know, you had vans and all this other stuff, and it was like really a hard time to figure it out. But I think I spent a lot of time wishing I had a 79 Z28. My first car was a 66 Ranchero, straight, you know, 170 inline 6. Found how to put nitrous on the car without, you know, any of the accoutrements you need to make it reliable, and blew that thing to kingdom come about 6 weeks into having it. I started at CarCraft. I worked for Jeff Smith. Jeff was the editor of CarCraft at the time. He left to go be editor of Hot Rod, and Cam Benty was my boss then, and I was probably in the editorial assistant seat for 13 months, and I was already a staff writer. You know, rat rodding by itself is not hot rodding. You know, they're just going out and find something rusty and throwing it together and calling it a hot rod. You know, it may not be. You know, let's look at what the definition of hot rodding is. I mean, hot rod can mean something specific like a 32 Ford. But in my mind, when you hot rod a car, when you have a hot rod, it's something you've made, 1, personal, 2, it's performance oriented, and 3, you're always going to be continuing to hot rod it. It's a verb. It's not a noun. Hot rod is an action, not a reaction. So you could have a hot rod that was, you know, in one category 10 years ago and maybe something completely different now. Well, I think why I think rat rods, and I'm going to use rat rod as the term people love to hate as well as love to love. The whole concept of what is going on in that world is just enough outside the box that everyone who builds a car, there's no rules. And the reason why it's successful is the rules are not there. You know, when I first started CarCraft, it was all about Pro Street. You had to use a certain wheel package. You had to use a certain color package. And when everybody became so focused on what the program was, you know, and what you had to do to build a Pro Street car, it died. And why did it die? Because it became less about the performance and less about making a statement and more about big tires and crazy paint. Rat rodding will do that too. Hot Rod Magazine, the reason why you see, you know, jalopies and rat rods on Hot Rod is that's what people want. And, you know, there are people that just say, shame on Hot Rod for having not having rat rods. It should be, every car should be a shiny car. Well, there's people that say every car on Hot Rod should be a 32 Ford. And everybody that thinks there should only be small block Chevys. And I was reading a blog this morning, if I see another LS anything in Hot Rod, I'm just going to puke. Well, you know what? The LS motor is what everybody wants because it's so able and so easy to work with. And not just the crate engine side of it, it's just the fact that it makes so much performance and it's so easy to have and it's so affordable. You know, growing up, Southern California car culture and all that stuff, you know, it was all about protecting the kid, keeping him off the street. What my goal with Hot Rod is get them on the street. Keep kids on the street. Keep kids recognizing that car enthusiasm and car culture is something you can embrace, whether you're into 60s muscle cars, 2012 Camaros, new Corvettes, old street rods. Regardless of what you do, you gotta have pride in what you're gonna build and what you're gonna want, and just absorb it. We are so excited about the future of hot rod right now. Our September issue, which goes on sale July 10th, will be a whole new chapter to the magazine. Our goal, when David and I were talking about it, really is we want people to say, I can't believe Hot Rod did that. Things like going down to Texas, racing on the Visconti General track at Uvalde, Texas, and going 202 miles an hour in a ZL1 Camaro. You know, it's a tuned-on one, Lingenfelter style, but you know, our sister title Motor Trend went out and tried to go 200 miles an hour in the GT 500, went 190. Hot Rod can do it, you know, and I think that's what it's about. It's not that we're more enthusiastic about cars than our sister titles. It's that Hot Rod we have a responsibility as Hot Rod to do things that are unbelievable, or doing things that are going to take it to a new level. You know, for a long time we've been a legacy book, and being a legacy sometimes can hinder you too. We start getting into this, you know, well, Hot Rod's this or Hot Rod's that. Well, we've decided that for hot rodding to progress, we have to go out and find what guys are doing to make individual statements, because really that's what makes hot rodding great. It's not about the latest bolt-on. It's not about the best color. It's about individual attitudes and changing those to be something that goes from unknown to known, or from, you know, less than polished to very well done. That's the difference. And you know, well done in one guy's category may mean heavy fabrication, really well done. Another guy might be paint. Hot Rod's a verb, and you can define it any way you want.